Welcome to 2020 Fire. We've been around for almost 13 years now in 2023, and we started from nothing, and here we are. We have almost 40 employees, and we are growing reasonably quickly. We started doing inspection and testing in the strata industries and went through maintaining most of Sydney's road tunnels, including M5 East, Cross City Tunnel and Eastern Distributor. And these days we really focus on inspection testing of residential, of commercial, of infrastructure and other types of buildings. We do inspection and testing to AS 1851. We do annual fire safety statements and have fire safety assessors who are qualified to do that. And we do the repairs that come along with that inspection testing to make sure people's buildings and systems are working correctly at all times to keep people safe. We also do some installations, but we only do installation where it relates to existing buildings where we have an existing relationship. We care greatly about our people, and we try to get them to grow in their roles, in their careers, along with the business. 2020 Fire has three key values. We call them CQS, and they are: we care, quality matters, and we keep people safe. To explain those values better, because they're not just words on a page, and you'll see them everywhere. CQS, where it comes to we care, it relates to we care about our staff, we care about our customers, we care about doing the right thing, and we care about giving back to the greater community and those who are less fortunate. Quality matters. If you're coming to work at 2020 Fire, there is no point doing your work unless you're going to do quality work, where you should be able to stand back and be proud of what you've done and be confident that the work you've done is going to keep people in buildings safe. And that leads us to our third value, and that is we keep people safe. So if we care and we do quality work, we will keep people safe. Fire protection is all about having everything ready for when the unexpected occurs. So if you're going to work at 2020 Fire, you need to live and breathe our values. We care, quality matters, we keep people safe, or CQS. The structure of 2020 Fire Protection is, attempts to be flat, but hierarchy is still required. I'm Rob, I'm the CEO, and I'm involved, in training our people, in making sure we deliver quality work, and in the business development to make sure we keep on growing. Because if we're not growing, there's no opportunities for your career growth either. In terms of the structure, the business is owned by myself and Clarissa, my wife, who also works in the business, mostly in the finance side. And then we have a team of a management team who you're probably likely to report into. Those teams are split up into our sales team, into our inspection, testing, scheduling teams, our service and trades teams, and finance and business improvement. So if you're working for one of those teams, it's important that you are communicating well with your manager so that they know what's going on, because they are there to support you just as you are there to support them. 2020 Fire Protection has an integrated management system in place. That's a whole lot of big words to explain. We have an externally audited ISO 9001 quality system, an ISO 14001 environmental system, and an ISO 45001 safety and work health and safety system in place. And all of these, as I said, are externally audited to make sure that we are a quality organisation. As a result of that, we have an integrated management system which contains all of our procedures, our policies, the way we do things, the forms we use, and all of those sort of structured documents to make sure we do a quality job the same way every day. It's important that if we have a procedure or a policy, it's followed. If you'd like a copy of it, it'll be on your server on SharePoint or OneDrive, but also you can always ask for a copy from your manager. With the policies that we have in place, they're there for a reason. We have a health and safety policy to make sure that everyone goes home in the same condition or better than when they came to work. We want to make sure that you work safely. We are not, working in trades and working in technician areas is not always safe. So we need to be very, very careful what we're doing. So that policy is to make sure you're kept safe. Our quality policy is to ensure that we're always doing quality work, that we're not cutting corners and we're not doing the wrong thing. So that also needs to be followed. Our environmental policy is to make sure that we are doing no more harm than we need to. We try to purchase modern vehicles that are efficient. We try to recycle every product we possibly can, and we try to do no more harm than we have to wherever possible. So the policies are there, please follow them. If you have a question, please ask your manager. The integrated management system we've spoken about is there to be followed. It's there to keep you safe, it's there to make sure we do quality work so that we're around tomorrow, so we keep on growing and delivering safe buildings for our customers. If you don't wish to follow the procedures, your period here at 2025 will not be long. It's a non-negotiable that those policies are followed every single day to make sure you're safe, we're safe, and the people that we work for are kept safe. As part of the integrated management system at 2025, we have policies for our quality, our safety, and our environmental systems. If you're interested in getting a copy of that, we have it on our servers, but also there's one printed just here on the notice board downstairs near the kitchen. In the workplace, we have hazards everywhere, and it's important that we're controlling those hazards. At 2020 Fire Protection, we use a system called Uptick to manage our jobs and our assets, and as part of that, for the start of every single job, we have a take 5 that we do before we start. It's not just a tick and flick, we are checking the safety of the site. So before we do anything, including as simple as testing this fire extinguisher, we're checking for hazards. What could fall on me? What could I slip on? What could go wrong? How can I avoid that risk? So your JSA completed or take 5 in Uptick is how we control hazards in the workplace at 2020 Fire. When working, incidents may occur. We do everything we can to avoid them, but if you do have an incident, whether it be a near miss, an injury, an accident, or otherwise, it must be reported and reported immediately. We use a system called Employment Hero, which you'll have on your phone, which you can use to actually write the incident, which we will then investigate and make sure that everything is safe to return to work. As part of our health and safety policy, if there are changes to the policies or there's new information required, that's going to be emailed out to you, or if not emailed out, it will be held in our staff meeting every month and memos attached. When you start at 2025, the most important thing is, where is the bathroom? And just here in the warehouse, we have the bathroom just there. In addition to that, the kitchen is downstairs adjacent to that. We have fridges if you need them for that. We have cold water, hot water, and Coke Zero should you require it. There's cooking materials and various cutlery as if you require it. In terms of the work area, this is the warehouse. This is controlled by our store person, so most things you shouldn't need to be in here for, but should you need it, we have all the stock related to most of the work that we do. Access to the office at 2020 Fire is relatively simple. When you start here, you'll be issued with a key fob. At the moment, the door is locked. All you need to do is tap your key right there once, and the door will open. If you're the first person here, it will also turn the alarm off. If you're the last person leaving the office, it's your responsibility to turn off the lights, make sure all the air conditioning is off, and as you exit, you return to this keypad here, hold your key on there for 3 seconds until the alarm up here bleeps twice. Once done, and on the keypad here, it turns red, you'll know that the system is armed and ready to leave for the evening. 2020 Fire Protection has a first aid officer, and that is Clarissa Broadhead. There are also ones out in the field. Our first aid supplies are here in the office, adjacent to the bathrooms, and kept up to date. But every vehicle that we have on the road should have an up-to-date first aid kit, so please check your inventories. At 2020 Fire, if you're working in the office, we have an evacuation plan. It's just here. You'll find it downstairs in the warehouse and also one upstairs in the office area. There are 2 exits, one directly above me, which goes out to the front of the property. And if we turn around straight to the rear of the property here, we'll see one at the rear just there. Going back to the evacuation plan, the area where we all assemble is out near the circle where the cars are parked into the centre. If we're asked to go there, we stay there until we have been told to return by the regulatory authority. 2020 Fire Protection uses a program called Employment Hero for our HR management. In this app, which is on your phone, and those of you who have a computer on your computer, it manages your address, your payroll, your safety, your employee engagement, your one-on-ones, and all of those sort of things. So important that you keep it up to date and any incidents, accidents and the like are reported through here. You can also use it for recognition of your peers or for feedback anonymously to management. So please, Employment Hero is your tool as much as is ours, and any feedback that goes through the engagement period is 100% anonymous. There is no way for us to tell what it is, so please feel free to give us that feedback. We actually act on it. Your hours of work are set out in your contract. For most of our technicians and trades, that time will be 7 till 3:30, with a half-hour break at a time of your choosing or to match your schedule. In terms of the office staff, it's generally 8 till 4:30, or as negotiated with your manager, and flexibility is permitted providing it's done in advance. It's important that for every role we have our half an hour break every day, because productivity and your work health and safety are impacted if you don't have that break every day. So please, half an hour break at a time that's convenient for your role and your schedule. At 20 Fire, if you're working in the field or if you have a role that is client facing, you will be issued with a uniform and the right PPE or personal protective equipment for your role. For those who are in techs and trades, there will be an inventory applicable to that. For everyone else, there is a uniform order form which you can use to order the uniforms you require. In terms of safety boots, we recognise that safety boots are a personal choice, so either you can choose to accept the boots provided, which are some sort of a Bluntstone or Redback slip-on, or if you choose to otherwise, you may claim up to $100 for those boots of your choice. If you're employed at 2025, your rate of pay is outlined in your actual contract. It'll outline when you're paid, and otherwise you're paid fortnightly, and it is every 2 weeks in arrears. It's generally paid on the Wednesday, but depending on your particular bank, you probably should assume that it will be on the Thursday in terms of your banking. Your wage or your salary is between you and your manager only. Sharing of that is not recommended for career growth, so please keep it yourself and negotiate it with your manager. Superannuation at 2025 is paid at the SGC rate, which at the moment is 10.5%, but it will be changed as the legislation occurs. When you're filling out Employment Hero or your employment documents, it's important that you are ticking that you are going to claim the tax-free threshold from this employer. That will ensure that the first part of your wage is not taxed at the same rate. At 2025, most of the things we do out in the field particularly are scheduled. They're scheduled a long way in advance. It could be scheduled 2 weeks to 2 months in advance. So sick leave at the late notice and the like is very difficult to manage. So if for some reason you happen to be sick or cannot be at work for a particular day, you must phone your manager, and by phone I mean actually phone your manager 1 hour before your start time. That's important so that they can get someone else there, or they can phone the customer or do whatever they need to do to shuffle that schedule. So, unexpected non-attendance would be preferred. It doesn't occur, but life does occur. So please, 1 hour notice to your manager of any non-attendance to site. At 2025, you're going to incur expenses that are unexpected coming along. It could be parking for your vehicle, it could be coffee with a customer, it could be a range of different things. So those things can be claimed through Employment Hero via the app that we spoke about earlier on your phone or on your computer. It's very important if you do so that you've taken a photo of it, you've explained what it is and put it in there with the actual value. And particularly for those things like filling up fuel on fire pumps, it's important that you're actually putting the claim in immediately, because those things need to be charged on to the client. If you do have to take sick leave and you've given your manager the adequate 1 hour notice, it's important that if it's on a Monday or a Friday, 2 consecutive days, or before or after a public holiday, that a doctor's certificate is provided for that. In terms of leave entitlements, you have 10 days of personal leave, and you have 4 weeks of annual leave. In terms of the personal leave, that we've already explained how that goes about. In terms of the annual leave, it's important that you're putting in your leave application via Employment Hero as early as possible. It's first in, best dressed, so if another employee who does exactly the same role as you has put in their leave for that time, there's a good chance yours will not be approved. So first in, best dressed if you want annual leave. And also important to remember, every year at Christmas we generally close between Christmas Eve and the first week back in January. So keep that in mind for your planning. At 2025, we love it if people want to improve themselves. We want you to be improving your career, your pathway, your education and your knowledge every single day. So if you'd like to do a course, an external course that will improve yourself, your career, or your benefit to the business, we would love to support you in doing so. You need to speak to your manager about it, get their approval of it, but when you put it in most cases, 2025 Profession will pay for that course. The only condition of that is that if we're paying for your course, we'll be asking you to sign a document saying if you leave less than 18 months after finishing the course cost will be yours. But if you're with us for 18 months after completion, the cost is ours. But we would love you to be working on your career and your growth while you're here. We're a fire protection company, so using things that emit large amounts of smoke is probably not sending the right message. So at 20 Fire, our policy is there is no smoking on the job and definitely no smoking in company vehicles. It would be preferable for your health that you don't smoke, but please do not smoke on company sites or in company vehicles. When you start here, you'll be issued with a copy of the Fair Work Information Statement, and that's a requirement of all employment legislation in New South Wales. If you have any questions about your payroll or your pay or anything like that, or need more information, you can always send an email to payroll@2020fire.com.au. That's the same place that we send doctor's certificates, queries, any sort of question related to your pay. If you're issued with a company issued vehicle, you're responsible for making sure it's safe to use every day. And so that means you need to check the oil, water, fuel, tyres and any other equipment that might be attached to that vehicle to make sure that it's safe. The other thing you need to check is, does it need to be maintained? It's our responsibility to maintain that vehicle, to get it serviced, and we have a policy that is done every 10,000 kilometres. So while it may occur via the GPS tracking in your vehicle, you need to give your manager 1,000 kilometres notice of your vehicle requiring service. If you're driving any company vehicles, it's important that you have a driver's licence. Insurance does not apply to vehicles when driven by unlicensed people. So every 6 months, you'll be required to provide a copy of your demerit record to the business to make sure that our company vehicles are being driven by adequately licensed persons. Your company vehicle should be issued with a petrol card or a fuel card, and that's your responsibility to keep that safe. The PIN number for that card is generally the last 4 digits of the card, or if it's not that, it is the postcode for Matraville 2036. If you have a company vehicle, in terms of technicians and trades, you must have an inventory in there. The inventory is not just for fun, it's there to make sure you have all the tools and the regular equipment that you need to do your job every day, or to do the regular repairs you might need to do. That inventory for your vehicle should be submitted to our store person every 2 weeks. In the warehouse at 20 Fire, we have a key register and we have a key wall. Those keys are for every job, and if you're going to use one, because that's what you need to get access, you need to sign it out. We have a whiteboard in the warehouse where you would sign that out, and it's very important that that key is returned as early as possible after your work is done, so that the next person may use it. Because just because you need it today doesn't mean we haven't got a service call tomorrow where that key is needed urgently. So please sign them out correctly and sign them back in again as quickly as possible. In terms of your company vehicle, it is insured and the legal requirements are that it is for business use only. Normal, regular use to go to the shops here and there to get a sandwich or a Coke is perfectly okay. However, usage for other purposes is not. We have GPS tracking on all vehicles, and it will report on hard usage, harsh usage, and excessive kilometres, so please don't. And in terms of accidents, we will cover the first excess at the moment on any crash, but if you have more than one at-fault accident in an 18-month period, the excess for the second and subsequent ones will be yours and subtracted from your wages. Please don't have accidents, please drive safely. In your inventory that we've spoken about earlier, it will have a list of the standard hand tools that you are required if you're a technician on the road. Basic hand tools like spanners, screwdrivers, pliers, and a shifter are your responsibility. Specialty tools like drills, drill bits, smoke equipment and the like is our responsibility. So please use your inventory to make sure you have the correct hand tools issued by yourself and the correct tools issued by us kept safely. Most people at 2025 who are in the field or speaking to customers will be issued with a mobile phone. Keeping that mobile phone is your responsibility to keep it safe and make sure it's locked. And using it safely is also important. If you're in a vehicle, it must be used with a hands-free kit or not used at all. If you're office-based or you're a supervisor or manager, you will also have access to 3CX, which is our phone system here. It's an app-based system, and it's your responsibility, as it is mine, to answer phone calls when they come into the system. So please, if you're issued with 3CX, it is your responsibility to answer the phone if it rings.